Welcome back to Release Control, episode 16, coming to you from my fucking living room. All right, this is the podcast where we release control of the shit we know we can't control, which it's sometimes easier said than done for a lot of us, me included, as an overthinker. But I've gotten a lot better these past couple of months, almost 6 months now, that I've barely been focusing on my overthinking, releasing control of the things that I can't control and being okay with it, because there's beauty behind that. There's beauty in not being able to control everything in life and just allowing things to be what they are. All right, with this episode, we're going to be covering several different topics. You know, earlier this week, I asked myself, it just popped in my head, what would you do if you had 1 year to live? And I really sat with that question, right? And I think a lot of us should ask ourselves that, you know, because we are lucky to wake up every single morning. We're lucky to be alive. We're lucky to be living. And a lot of times we see just the negatives in life, the hardships, the things that we're struggling with, the things that we don't have. And it's okay to think about that, but we also need to think about the things that we do have, be grateful for the things that we have, and really focus more on, you know, being grateful, having the gratitude of what we have, and not just necessarily focused on what we don't have, right? So with that question, you know, what if you had 1 year to live, Alan? What would you do? You know, and I sat with that, and I really focused in on that with my current job, you know, being in the Army, about to retire in roughly, 14 months. That's about a year. You know, what am I going to do with my life afterwards? You know, how am I going to show up for my daughters, be more involved in their life? You know, being in the Army, I'm in another state and they're in Texas. So how am I going to show up for them more often, be with them, more days, than I currently am due to my distance, right? How am I going to show up for myself? How am I going to show up, if I get into a relationship? What am I going to do? How am I going to focus on the things that are important to me, right? My family's important to me. My daughters are important to me. The next person that I'm in a relationship will be important to me. My job will be important to me. The things that I like to do will be important to me. This podcast is important to me. Helping people is important to me, right? So if I had a year to live, what would I do? Travel more, enjoy time with my daughters more, enjoy fucking pursuing my passions more, showing up for myself more, showing up for my family more. These are all important questions, to ask yourself. How, what are you going to do if you had a year left? How would you show up? How would you show up for you? How would you show up for your family? What are some things that you would do differently? And, I've, for the past couple of months, and it really started after my breakup, I really focused in on me, due to the fact that I was going through a breakup. But with that breakup came a lot of other things, this podcast, social media. I just got to the point that, who cares what people think? And that's where I want people to get to is, a lot of people want to do things in life, but they're scared. They let that fear stop them. That fear stops them from pursuing their passion or pursuing a hobby or pursuing a job or pursuing anything because they're scared. They're scared of either quote unquote failing. They're scared of what someone's going to say about them, what people are going to think about them. And I just want them to get to the point that they don't give a shit about what people say about you, what people think about you. And I've mentioned this on other podcasts. People are going to talk about you no matter what. No matter if you do amazing things, no matter if you give all your money to charities, no matter if you help everybody, no matter what, someone will always have something negative to say about you. You cannot allow that to stop you from doing what you want to do. And that goes back to me. I've been able to get over that hurdle of, what if someone sees me on TikTok, or what if someone sees me on social media, or what if someone that I know listens to my podcast? I don't give a fuck what people say. I care about people. I do. But if they're not going to be on my side, if they're not going to root for me, fuck it. Whatever, man. Do you. I'm going to do me. I know I have a purpose in life, and my purpose is to help people. That is my purpose, is to help people navigate the fucking challenges of life, because we all go through shit. We all have tough times. We all have difficult moments. We all struggle with whether it's anxiety, depression, overthinking. What am I going to do with my life now? Or I'm scared of this, or what if I fail this? Everyone is going through something in life. It doesn't matter how much money they have or how awesome they look on fucking social media. Everyone is going through shit, and nobody talks about it because they want to have the quote unquote perfect life. They want people to think that they live a certain way or have a certain lifestyle. Me, I don't give a fuck. What you see is what you get. And it is what it is. Like me, hate me, I don't give a shit. I'll sleep perfectly at night. So it goes back to, if you have 1 year to live, what would you do? What would you do that you're not currently doing? Do you want to fucking start a business and you're currently fucking scared? Then fucking start it. Just take the steps that you need to take to do what you want to do. You just have to start. You don't have to have all the answers. And it goes again, I've talked about this, I think in maybe my last podcast or the podcast before. I know nothing about podcasts. I looked it up. I got the bare equipment that I needed, and I fucking started, and I'm learning as I go. And that's what you do. That's what every fucking entrepreneur does. You just start, you fucking grind, you put in the work, you get smarter on your craft every single day, and you just keep fucking going, and you don't quit for fucking nothing. Are there going to be tough times? Yeah, absolutely. Is it going to be easy? Fuck no. But if this is your passion and this is your purpose, you're not going to fucking quit on what you're doing. So that's my advice to everyone listening, is you have to fucking chase your dreams. You have to chase your purpose. Nothing is going to be given to you. Nothing is fucking free. Nothing is easy. Shit is fucking difficult out there. But if you want it, you got to go fucking take it. You got to go take it, man, because someone else is putting in that work. Someone else is fucking showing up. Someone else is fucking chasing that fucking dream. So it's up to you. Are you going to let them win, or are you going to fucking win? And that's how you got to tackle life. You have to show up every single day for yourself. And it's not easy. There's days that you're fucking tired. There's days that you want to give up. There's days that you don't want to do it. But the difference is, from the people that succeed and the people that fail, is how do you show up? Do you take that day off? Do you fucking quit? Or do you keep fucking showing up for yourself? Every single day you wake up, you're fucking tired, but you still show up. You still go to the gym. You still go for your run. You still show up and learn something about fucking social media. Learn something about fucking marketing. You learn something about fucking podcasting. New piece of equipment. New fucking mic. Whatever it is, you're learning something every single day on your fucking craft or your business or whatever it is you want to do. You have to, because no one is going to give it to you. No one is going to fucking show up and say, hey, you know what? I think you deserve this. Here you go. I'm going to help you out. No, it's on you. It's on you to show up every single day for the shit that you want. And if you don't, then you're not going to fucking win. You're not going to succeed. And that's how life is. So that's kind of what I was thinking about earlier this week, as far as, what I want to do. I get out of the Army in 14 months, and I talked to my uncle. I'll probably be working for his company, and I'm going to be doing social media on the side. I love what I fucking do. I love this podcast. I love helping people. There's so many messages that I get on social media saying, hey, I listened to your podcast, or I just saw your fucking clip and it helped. It resonated. Keep going, keep doing what you're doing. And that means everything to me. If I can just help one person every day, every hour, whatever it is, I just want to fucking help. I just want everyone to know that at the end of the day, we're all human. None of us are perfect. And that's the fucking beauty of life, is we're not perfect. And every person that looks perfect, acts perfect, says they have it figured out, they're just fucking full of shit. Nobody has it figured out. It's fucking life. It changes all the fucking time. You may have it figured out one day, the next day, you may not. And that's okay. That's the beauty of it. We're fucking evolving every single day. We're growing every single day. And and we're getting better every single day, you know? So yeah, that's what I have with that. And that's what I've been thinking about this past week. And, I'm excited to retire. I will fucking miss the army. I fucking loved my time serving my country, and the friends that I fucking made, and the memories I've made, I will fucking take with me. But it's time for a new chapter in my life. It's time for me to try something different, and it's been fucking fun, So I'm looking forward to being a civilian. I'm looking forward to something different. So that's kind of what I was thinking about throughout the week. And this podcast, I'm gonna have a few different topics that I wanted to talk about. This one wasn't necessarily about dating, but the next one will. So I want to talk about dating apps, right? A lot of people are on dating apps because it's easier, right? A lot of people don't have time. Everyone's working. People get home 5, 6 at night, cooking dinner, fucking working out, whatever, going to bed. So people don't have the time. Some people don't have the skill set to talk to people, in real life. And that's fine. I mean, it's something that we should all learn, and something not to be scared about. A lot of guys, and I'm going to speak for guys because I'm a dude, and I've been there at times where I am fucking, years ago when I was a lot younger, I didn't have the self-confidence. So dating apps was the easier thing, because if you don't match on a dating app, it doesn't mean anything, right? There's no feelings behind it. You're not really rejected. So the dating apps are easier for many reasons. One, for rejection. Two, because a lot of people don't have time to go socialize, to go out, to go meet people, to interact with people. So it's easier. It's easier to be on that dating app and talk to people on the dating app. I think it's over 50% of people on dating apps that are single, because it's easier. You make a little profile, you put some updated photos of yourself, and it's like you're fishing. You just throw out the rod and you see what happens. And there's nothing wrong with dating apps. I just think the biggest thing is a lot of people are probably not realistic or honest of themselves on these dating apps. Just like social media, everyone wants to put their best face out on social media instead of saying, hey, I'm not 130 pounds, or I don't have fucking 6-pack abs, or I can't fucking lift fucking 300 pounds, or whatever the case may be. Everyone is putting their best fucking, face forward, looking the best on social media. And it goes on dating apps too. You fill out your bio, you say, oh, I love to travel, I love to work out, I love to go hike. Well, fucking tell me your red flags, bro. Tell me the shit that I really need to know, that you shut down during arguments, or you over communicate, or you're an anxious attachment, or you're an avoidant. Tell me the real shit. People aren't going to tell you that. And I think that's the biggest problem with dating apps and people in general, because everyone wants to be loved. Everyone wants to be liked. Everyone wants to have somebody. So I think we can do a better job on dating apps and be more ourself on dating apps. I'm on dating apps, and I don't have a problem matching with women. I get shit ton of matches, shit ton of messages. For the most part, they don't lead anywhere. Days, weeks, talking. Maybe I'll get a few numbers, message them, then it dies out. It's whatever. I'm looking to date. I think I'm there. Recently, my past couple episodes, I said I wasn't ready. But it's been over 5 months, and I'm ready. And the next topic we'll talk about is being healed. That's a whole fucking thing. But yeah, I think I'm ready to date. I use dating apps because it is convenient for me. I work all day. I come home. I eat dinner, whatever. I fucking, work out, whatever the case may be. So I'm not always home. I'm not always fucking free. A lot of people that I work with, friends, are all fucking married. So, going out is every once in a while. With that being said, dating apps are easier. You just put yourself out there and you swipe or whatever, people swipe back, and you kind of go from there, getting to know people. But the hardest part about like dating or dating apps is pretty much having the same fucking conversation over and over with a different person. Oh, tell me about yourself. Where are you from? How old are you? Kids, no kids? Ever been married? Blah, blah, blah. And it's just like the same shit over and over. But that's part of dating. That's part of putting yourself out there, finding someone. You have to go through that. And for the longest time, I was like, fuck, this is ridiculous. This is fucking boring. I just want to find somebody that can stimulate my mind, that can fucking keep my attention, that I can talk to, that I can get to know. And, I self-sabotage a lot of those individuals. I self-sabotaged a lot of those connections because obviously I wasn't ready at the time. I am now. Yeah, so I'm ready to fucking date. I'm ready to see how that goes and not self-sabotage every fucking person that I meet. So yeah. But dating apps, I think people need to be more real on dating apps. Like, hey, this is who I am. And I think they're just scared to fucking push people away. But at the end of the day, be your real self, because what's the point of being on a dating app and saying everything great about yourself, and then someone matches and, you get a phone number and you're talking and everything's vibing, and then when the real you comes out, now they're not interested. Now you just wasted weeks, months. So why do that? Just be your fucking authentic self. That's how I am. Like, hey, this is me, bro. Every person that I've talked to, or every girl that I've talked to, whether it be, meeting out in the real world, quote unquote, meet on dating apps, I tell them, hey, this is what my past couple of months have looked like. This is where I am. Take it or leave it, bro. I don't give a shit. I'm at the point in my life, like, I don't care. I used to be I guess I am a people pleaser. I'm still, working on that. I'm very passionate. I don't know, man. I guess I had an anxious attachment style with my ex, but nowadays I don't have that. I fucking let go of these girls that I talk to, women that I talk to very easily. But I guess because I don't have a connection with them or feelings towards them, so it's easier to let them go, to be dismissive and be like, whatever, I'm good to go. But I think being more real, more upfront, more authentic will help a lot of people in the dating world. A lot of people are not being their true selves, their authentic selves, all because they're looking for someone. And I get it. Dating is hard. Finding a good person is hard. I hear it all the time. Like, I can't find a good man. I can't find a good woman. Well, fuck. I don't know. I can't. But not all people are bad. Not all people are going to hurt you. Not all people are trying to hurt you. It's just fucking people are hurt, man. People are hurt. People haven't put in the work. People don't know how to heal. People don't know how to identify their trauma, their triggers. And then even if they're able to identify, they don't know how to put in the work to regulate themselves when those feelings come up and it becomes issues in the relationship. Or a lot of people just are dismissive or avoidant because they don't want to get hurt. Maybe they're not over their ex. There's so many different reasons why someone, is not going to work out in a relationship, or why someone treats you a certain way. But dating apps, I think we should be more authentic on dating apps. Enough with the dating apps. Let's talk about healing, right? On social media, on my TikTok, I see a lot of people talk about healing. I've talked about healing. And something popped into my head a couple of days ago about healing, right? And my question, I asked myself this too, and I don't know the answer. My question was, are you really healing yourself? Are you really putting in the work, right? And maybe you are, Alan, but how are you testing it? How are you testing that you're putting in the work not to fucking have your trauma and your triggers set you off in a relationship? And I'm not, because I'm not talking to anybody. I'm not in a relationship with anybody, and nothing is serious with anybody. And I think that it's all great that people are working on themselves, healing, quote unquote. But are you healed? Because you're not in a relationship. No one is testing your trauma. Nobody is testing your triggers. Nobody is making you feel uncomfortable. Nobody is having an argument with you where you need to figure out, oh shit, am I going to shut down and stonewall this person? Or am I going to regulate myself during this argument understand what I'm feeling, and express my emotions and my thoughts. Nobody is making you feel those ways. So yeah, maybe on your own, you're thinking about your trauma, you're thinking about how you used to be in other relationships, but nobody is testing it. Nobody is putting you to work. Nobody is testing you. And that's where I don't know if a lot of us are really healed. Because the only way you know you're healed or you're healing is when you're in a relationship, because they're going to be a reflection of you. They're going to bring up the things that bother you, the things that anger you, the things that irritate you. And that's where the work is, And I think that's where the true test is, if you're healing or not, is you're in a relationship with someone that brings up your triggers and your traumas, and you're able to regulate yourself, or you're able to be like, holy shit, okay, I feel this way. Let me fucking sit back. Let me think about what's going on, and let me regulate my system. You're not. As a single person, no one is fucking making you feel any type of way, because you're not arguing with anybody. You're alone. Everything is great, right? You may have a dog. That dog's not going to piss you off. That dog's not going to make you feel a certain way. He's not going to fucking make you anxious. So the only way to test yourself is to really get into a relationship and put that quote unquote work to the test. So that's kind of what I was thinking about these past couple of days is, I know what sets me off. I know what triggers me. I know in some relationships I can be anxious, and this is what I should do to regulate, and this is where it comes from. I know all that. But what happens when I'm in a relationship and they make me feel these feelings? Am I going to be able to regulate myself? Am I going to be able to understand that this is not them, this is me, and I need to regulate my own fucking feelings? I don't need them to validate me. I don't need them to let me know that everything is okay. I don't need them to reassure me that they're not leaving. Like, this is what I'm talking about. During the healing process, you're working on these things, but who's testing them? Who's putting you to the test? Who's making sure that the work that you put in is really beneficial and that it's really going to fucking work? Something to think about, right? And then another thing that I've seen on social media is a lot of people being quote unquote so healed that they can see all these red flags and they're not dating because everyone's a red flag and everyone is this and everyone is that. And there's a lot of quote unquote healed people that have been single for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And I'm like, holy fuck. Like, I don't want that. I don't want to be fucking single for 5 years where I think everyone is a red flag, because fuck, man, at the end of the day, we're fucking human. We all have red flags. But can a person regulate them? Can a person identify them? Can a person put in the work? We're all fucking not perfect, right? And a lot of us label ourselves as damaged, or we need to work on ourselves, or we're not good enough. We need to be very, very careful with the words that we label ourselves, man, because we're not broken. We're not fucking quote unquote unhealed. We're not our trauma. Right? We need to identify it, be able to work on it, regulate it. Regulating it is the most important part, right? Because you can identify it, and it goes back to self-awareness, putting in the work, fucking knowing yourself, and wanting to be better every single day, wanting to be the best version of yourself. And, dating is fucking crazy. I never thought I'd have to be fucking dating at fucking 44 years old. But here I am. And, I've met some interesting ladies, some interesting women. A lot of them, and I don't know, we just didn't click. To each their own. I'm not here to judge anybody, but, we didn't click. Could be me. I don't fucking know. I'm not perfect. But I think being too healed or focusing on too much of healing can be a bad thing. I think it gets to the point that someone thinks they're so fucking healed that everyone is bad. Everyone is a red flag, to ignore all red flags. And I don't think we need to ignore the red flags. I think we need to be aware of someone's red flags and be able to talk about them with that individual and and kind of see where they stand with their red flags, right? So it goes back on people, not the red flags themselves. Like I have red flags, right? I'm an over communicator. I'm a people pleaser. I need reassurance in relationships, things like that. That's not on anyone to fucking fix. That's on me to work on me to regulate, on me to be secure enough to be like, hey, I don't need reassurance from you. I know what I have. I know what I bring. And if you want to leave, then fucking leave, you know? And I'm getting there. But no one's put me to the test. I haven't found anyone that I've been attracted to the point that I'm like, okay, I want to be in a relationship with them. And I've never been, since my ex, I've never been in that position to feel that, right? To be like, okay, what if they leave? Am I going to be okay with them leaving? So again, it's, you may be healed, you may be working on yourself, you may be healing, but who's putting you to the test? Who's putting all that work you've been putting on yourself to the test? You don't know until you're fucking tested how you're going to react. So that's something that I've been thinking about. But I do think that individuals that quote unquote are just focused on healing and anyone with the red flag, I don't want to talk to, they're the problem, I don't need that. I think that's very dangerous because now you're 5 years down the road and you're fucking single because everyone's a red flag and every red flag is an issue. And that's what I don't want. I don't want to be fucking living alone at fucking 50, 60 years old. Fuck that. I want somebody. And I think we all want somebody. It's just some people are upfront and honest about it, and some people just believe the lie that they tell themselves. I don't think anybody wants to be alone. I don't think anyone wants to live alone. I don't think anyone wants to be fucking single for too long. I think there's a good amount of time that someone should be single, especially after a divorce, a breakup, ending of a relationship. I think there's time that is needed to mourn the relationship, to move on from the relationship, to understand the baggage that came from that relationship, to kind of dig through all that trauma of the relationship and kind of figure out themselves, how they can show up better in the next relationship, how they could have done better in that relationship, how the partner they attracted, may or may not be the person that they want, and there's so much in a failed relationship to learn that it's a really good fucking thing, and it doesn't feel good when it's happening, right? It didn't feel good when I was going through my breakup, but I learned a lot. I learned that, what type of person I want, what type of woman I want in my life. I want somebody that can communicate their feelings. I want somebody that understands what they're feeling, understands what they're thinking, can articulate their feelings to me with words, right? Like, I don't want somebody that shuts down when things are uncomfortable or when the argument is getting bad. I don't want someone to start screaming and yelling when we're in an argument or when we're disagreeing on something. I want somebody who can regulate themselves. Somebody can, if they need a break, totally understand. Like, hey, things are getting a little heated. I need a break. Let's take some time apart. Let's take a couple of hours, maybe the night. We'll readdress it tomorrow. Totally understand. But I need someone that can communicate that with me. I need someone who understands what they want in life, what they need in life, and can articulate it to me using words. I definitely don't want somebody that's the opposite of that. I already had that. It's not easy. It's not fun. And then for me, I need to be able to work on my shit too, right? I'm not going to fucking, being a people pleaser, fucking being anxious, being, needing what's it called? Reassurance, all that shit. Like, I don't, like, that's not going to be me. I'm getting to the point. Hopefully I can get to that point. Again, I feel like I'm getting there, but again, I'm not in a relationship. No one's testing me on it, but I feel like I'm at a point that I know that I don't need a woman in my life, that I will be okay. So if I start dating again, that person can leave and I will be okay. That's where I want to get. That's where I want to know that I'm at. That if they leave, hey, by all means, you take off, I'm going to be fucking good. And it's taken me a little bit of time after this relationship to get there, and I'm there. I think because I have not been tested, I'm only going off of experiences of talking to a shit ton of women and being like, yeah, you're not good for me. This isn't going anywhere. I wish you the best. and you go your way, I go my way. And I don't ever mean ghosting people. I don't like ghosting. I think that's very fucking childish, especially if you're in your fucking 30s and 40s. Don't ghost people, man. If you're not interested, use your fucking words and say, hey, I'm not interested. I've lost interest, or, you know, I don't agree with some of your values, or whatever the case may be. Express yourself and be like, hey, I think we're going to go our separate ways. With that being said, so yeah, like, you know, that's what I need from a partner, and that's how I need to show up for my partner. Is I can't be anxious. I can't be needing reassurance. I don't, like, at this point, I don't fucking give a shit. If you want to leave, you can leave, because I know what I bring to the table. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. But I can communicate. I can show love. I can appreciate you. I can show up financially. I can show up emotionally. My emotions are regulated. And that's taking me fucking years to get to, right? Understanding my fucking trauma and all my bullshit from my childhood I've gotten to the point that I can regulate all that, right? I need a person who is the opposite of me. So I'm really I guess an introvert working his way to being an extrovert. I don't like being an introvert. You know, I've always been at the house, not doing stuff, but I've always wanted to. I just never did. And now I'm doing it, you know? So now I am an extrovert, I think, more so than I used to be. But, you know, knowing what you want from someone or need from someone is very important. So that's something that you really need to understand before you get back out to dating, is knowing what you offer, what you bring to the table, and what you want from your partner, you know? And I'm not talking about the shallow shit of, you know, fucking... And again, I don't want to call it shallow shit, because people's feelings get all hurt. Like 6'5", fucking abs, whatever. If that's your thing, that's your thing. But I'm talking about the shit that really matters in a relationship. You know, I'm talking about the emotional intelligence, the ability to self-regulate, the ability not to be fucking overjealous, the ability to not be fucking controlling, the ability to know that, hey, if they walk away, you're fine. You're going to be okay. All these things that are important, understanding that you need to be friends with someone before you become fucking partners, or a fucking boyfriend, girlfriend, or before you become lovers. Like there's a process, and a lot of people fucking bypass all this shit. A lot of people go straight from talking to dating to marriage or whatever, and they forget about the friendship. They forget about, you know, taking time. You don't need to rush into a relationship. Take your time with a relationship. Get to know people. Get to know that person. You know, ask them the tough questions, not what's your favorite color. I want to know, you know, how are you financially? Are you good with money? Do you invest? What do you do with this? How do you show up for your family? What's your relationship like with your kids or your ex-spouse? Like, this is the shit that I want to know about somebody. Not what's your favorite color. Like, that's fucking boring ass shit. I really want to know who you are. And the sooner you can understand who they are, the sooner you know that person's yours or that person's not for you. And it's time to go your separate ways. And it's not at the 6-month mark. It's not at the year mark that you fucking figure out that this person has $60,000 worth of debt. And that's not something you want to deal with, right? These are the tough questions you need to have. So if it's going down a road that is really good, then you need to start asking the tough questions, you know? And yeah, and don't be wasting your time, and don't be wasting their time, you know? And going back to the debt, it's not a bad thing that people are in debt. Everyone's in fucking debt in some sort of fashion, but it's about the honesty, the being upfront. This is who I am. And if people aren't being upfront, then do you really want that in your life? Do you really want to waste your time with someone that's not being their authentic self? So yeah, and I think a lot of this goes back to, you know, a lot of people are okay being alone. And fuck, man, that's not what I want to do. I don't want to be 65 years old and fucking single. Like, what the fuck? No, I want somebody, you know, and I'll get there. And I think everybody wants that. I just think some people lie to themselves and believe their own fucking lie, which is not a good thing. So yeah, that's just me thinking out loud. You know, so I think being too healed or really focus on the healing process, and not getting back out to dating and not understanding that people are human and we're not perfect, can be a really fucking scary thing, right? Because then you're not giving people an opportunity, right? There's good people out there with a bunch of trauma. There's good people out there that are dealing with stuff. There's good people out there that have red flags. And not every red flag is a fucking bad thing. Not every red flag is an ending of a relationship. Not every bad flag means you shouldn't date that person. You know, it goes back to the person, who they are, what they do, what they're willing to do for themselves, really, and for the possible relationship, right? When a man loves a woman, man, he will do fucking anything for her. I fucking tell you that right now. I would do anything for the person I loved. I did almost anything for my fucking ex. You know, I would have given her fucking the world, anything and everything, you know? And when people love you, they will do that. And let's talk about love real quick. This will be the last one. Let's talk about love. You know, and I heard this from what's his name? Jay Shetty, I think is his fucking name. And he was talking about love. And I'm going to fuck this quote up. But he said, what did he say? He said, people love at different levels, right? Some person can say, hey, I love you, and they mean that for the rest of their life. Some people say, hey, I love you, and it's only for a fucking season or a short amount of time. So my thing is, you really need to understand that when someone says, I love you, it doesn't necessarily mean forever. And that was my biggest thing. And that quote fucking helped me a lot because, you know, my ex, you know, she told me she loved me. She told me she wanted to be with me forever. You know, we had a whole life planned, everything like that. But where's she now? Not around, right? She ended the relationship. So people's I love you is different than someone else's I love you. I would have never left her. You know, I loved her with all my heart and I meant it and I meant forever. And she didn't. And that's okay. Nothing bad towards her, nothing bad towards anyone. You just need to be at the point that if someone tells you I love you, I want to spend the rest of my life with you, and then 2 weeks later leaves you, you need to be so secure in yourself that it doesn't hurt you, that it doesn't not hurt because it's going to hurt, that it doesn't destroy you and crumble your life. You see, that's what that did. When she ended it, I was at an all-time fucking low that I didn't think I'd ever meet anyone. I didn't think that anyone would ever want to be with me, ever wanted to love me, or any of that stuff. But that's your brain just telling you a bunch of bullshit, and then you believe in it. I believed it, but now I know that, you know, people are attracted to me. Women are attracted to me. Women do want to talk to me. They do want to get to know me, and that's a great feeling. But I just want you to know that people love differently, and I love yous are different for everybody. And again, it may mean for one person that they love you for the rest of their life. And some people will just say, I love you, and it changes in a season or two. So just be very aware of I love yous are not measured the same. They don't mean the same for everybody. Everyone has their own meaning of I love you. Just something to think about. That really fucking grasped my brain. I really sat there and listened to that over and over again because it made so much fucking sense in my life that I just want y'all to know that people love differently and it's measured differently for everyone, and it means something different for everyone. I love you is not a universal meaning for everybody. You know, my I love yous are different than your I love yous or anyone else's that's listening to this fucking podcast. So something to think about, something to really fucking focus in on. I just want you to all be secure enough to know that if someone walks out of your life, whether it's your fucking partner, your husband, your wife, your best friend, family, whatever it is, that you are okay, that you can continue on with life and know that, hey, they wanted to leave. That's okay. That's their choice to make, and they have all the right in the world to make that choice, and I'm going to be okay, and life's going to go on. Life's going to suck for a little bit, but life's going to go on. Everything's going to be okay. That's where I want everyone to be at. And, you know, life is a motherfucker, man. Life is tough. Life isn't easy. Life will knock you down, but you get right back up and you continue moving. That's where I want everyone to be. I want everyone to understand that life is life, man. And life is going to fucking kick you in your fucking ass all the time. And that's okay. You're going to get up and you're going to continue on moving. With that being said, we're going to bring this podcast to an end. I appreciate everyone listening. Please, if this episode resonated with you, drop something in the comments. Let me know some topics you want me to talk about. Make a comment of what you thought about the podcast, what you thought about one of the subjects we talked about, and we'll go from there. I appreciate everyone. You can find me on social media. Remember, also, follow the podcast so you can get notified when new episodes come out. They come out every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern time. So yeah, follow the podcast, listen or wait for that alert, drop some comments. I love to hear from y'all. And we'll go from there. So again, you can find me on all social media platforms at Release Control Podcast. And I appreciate y'all, stopping by. Please, 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 if this resonated with you, share with your friends and family and comment in the comment section of Spotify, and I will definitely comment back to you. Again, I appreciate y'all. I hope to see y'all on episode 17. Thank y'all so much. Y'all have a great, great fucking week.